I tell the Jew haters all the time, I don't know why y'all hate the Jews. If it wasn't for Judaism, there would be no Christianity.
Right. A lot of these podcasters will quote the Bible and then say, see, Christianity is the, the foundation of civilization. And I want to remind them that the Ten Commandments come from the Torah, which is not originally a Christian book. It's a Jewish book, which beautifully Christians adopted. I think the Torah is so perfect. And Moses, in him saying, he said, do not change it, because God revealed himself to the world through the Jewish people, not meaning only to the Jewish people. We're like a conduit for the world. And that revelation was perfect. And I don't think we need to add or change it at all. So I don't think anything else is a revelation besides the Torah.
In Judaism, how is Jesus viewed in relation to God's plan or story for humanity?
In Judaism, like Rachelea explained before, he's viewed as a Orthodox Jewish human being. He's not. We don't view Jesus as as anything godly or like a deity.
What about Messiah?
Messiah's, that's different. He's not. Maybe you can explain that a little bit more.
He is neither a God nor a Messiah because he did not fulfill the messianic.
Oh, meaning you're asking if you think Jesus is a Messiah.
Right. If you guys believe.
Neither God, neither
no,
Messiah.
Jesus is not a Messiah either.
And I will say also, 10 seconds, I promise. In terms of of the world, we actually believe that Jesus fulfilled some kind of godly mission by bringing billions of people to the Bible and spreading this knowledge of Messiah. But this is important. In the Jewish history, it has brought us, and we have a beautiful relationship now, but it was 2,000 years really of persecution, where Jews shared the Torah with the world and with Christians, and then Christians kind of took the Torah and used it against Jews and said, you must worship this man, when we had been learning for more than 1,000 years that you can't. So it did cause us a lot of heartbreak, and at the same time, Jesus brought billions of people to the Bible. I believe that the man that Christians worship, Jesus, he himself would not have wanted people, not wanted. He would have he was an Orthodox Jew just like me. He was a rabbi, he kept Shabbos, he kept kosher, he had mezuzahs on his door, he kept Sukkot and Passover, and he did not believe that human beings should ever be worshipped.
Snipped on the eighth day?
That is the way that is one of the reasons I believe that the Christian Bible is human written, it was human man-made, because the very man that is at the foundation of the text would have completely condemned human worship.
But Jesus is ours. Sorry, he wasn't a Christian.
Yeah.
Get over yourself. Jesus was a Jew.
He was.
He's a Jew just like me.
Yeah.
Remember the scripture that says salvation is of the Jews? There's a reason for that. Because in my Bible, there is the genealogies, both from Matthew and Luke. They were put there for a reason. They were put there to show the lineage from which he came. That lineage is not pagan, it is not Greek, it is not barbarian. If you look carefully, those from the line from which he comes is from the line of the tribe of Judah. That tribe is basically the morphing of the word Judahite, which became Judah, Judaism, Jewish into our language. Okay? Regardless of the English, forget that, but the concept is there, clear as day. And then you have a record. Why did Joseph and Mary, why was he in the temple? Why, if you are a non-Jew, how do you get into the temple? Tell me, if you know the laws, how do you get into the temple if you're not a Jew? It even gives the prescribed offerings that Mary would have had to have made.
That's a good
point. You don't make
point.
those offerings if you are not a Jew.
There were no non-Jews
just 2 weeks
reading
ago.
Hebrew Torah in the synagogues.
And first called Christians at Antioch, and Jesus was not called a Christian. He was called many things. Teacher, rabbi. Again, do you call somebody who's not a Jew a rabbi?
No.
It's very clear when I read in the New Testament, they came and they said, Rabboni, rabbi. So for the love of God, please.
Christianity is a violent contradiction, obviously. In the first century and the early second century, the followers of Christ were predominantly Jews. Then it spread. The Apostle Paul started communicating the gospel of Christ to Gentiles. And then there was a real conflict between Jews and Gentiles who were following Christ. You can read about it in Acts chapter 15, the first council in Jerusalem.
I don't want to read your stuff. I'm talking about
It's not my stuff. It's the Gospels and the book of Acts.
We look at Acts 15, where this question comes up about how should Gentile converts be received into the church. And the church decides in Acts 15 that God wouldn't require anything more than what was required of Noah. So Acts 15 actually looks back to the Noahic covenant to say that since Christianity is true Israelite worship for the nations, that's our view of it, we're going to bring the Gentile converts in on the basis of what was expected in the Noahic covenant.
Paul is saying that pagans may not worship their own gods anymore, and that disrupts this political, religious ecosystem of the city. Meanwhile, what it does, if you have this man running around saying you should worship only for us, the God of Israel, that would be associated immediately with the synagogue. So alienating the gods puts the city at risk, but alienating the city puts the synagogue at risk. And that's why I think Paul was subjected to community discipline. And we don't know in what Jewish communities, but 5 times, he says, he received the 39 lashes, and they're trying to get him to be quiet. By having a message that you can only worship the God of Israel, only, even if you're not Jewish, that's going to sound like it's emanating from the synagogue. And that's going to begin to unsettle the place of the synagogue in the city. And that's why I think Paul had headwind, not only from Roman magistrates, but also from Jewish authorities. I mean, who worships the God of Israel? The Jews.
Jews.
Right.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? From the standpoint of all of a sudden, as I'm reading through these letters and studying and so forth, I see all these references that he makes to these superhuman entities, and that was a huge part of what he thought, the Davidic Messiah, Christ, gains victory over. And so I think that's why I appreciate this emphasis.
Right. Paul's main message is not don't get circumcised. Paul's main message is stop worshiping native gods and worship only the God of Israel. And that's
only
that's
the
his
Jewish
main message.
God. That was his whole message. That's what Christianity is. What's up, guys? Good morning. Thank you all for joining me. I'm Adam Green. This is No More News. It is Thursday, November 20th, 2025. Huge show today. Going to be discussing the Christian and Islam clash going on in Dearborn, Michigan. Going to get into some of that. Alex Jones, right on the heels, the very next day after covering the rabbis and their anti-Edom agenda, quickly shifts focus to fear-mongering about Muslims, even more so playing into the role of Esau in the clash, the apocalyptic Gog and Magog prophetic clash between the West, Christendom, and Islam. So first, when Jones plays the Edom videos of the rabbis, he says, oh, well, you killed Jesus, so, how's that working out? So you're playing the Esau hates Jacob, playing the Christian role, affirming their Torah and their covenants, and now he's doing the Esau clash with the Muslims shtick. We're going to get into that. See Through It All made a nice compilation in response to that. See Through It All's latest mix got us started today, too. The Jewish conspiracy to get the Gentiles to abandon their native gods and worship the God of Israel through Christianity. Bryson Gray, rapper Bryson Gray. What's up, Volker Spirit? Good to see you here. Troggy Trog. Bryson Gray is scared. He sees what's happening. He says, you're going to see more and more people from the anti-Israel crowd leaving the faith because the Bible was written by Jews. As they should. As they should. I hope so. One could only hope. One problem, though. Not just because it was written by Jews, but because it's fake and written by Jews, to be precise, and gay. Even if it wasn't Jewish, if Christianity was a spinoff of a Hindu religion or some Chinese religion or some weird African religion, You know, it wouldn't matter. Even if it was a religion that was subversive and said what it said, that was made up maybe by Europeans. It's not just because it's Jewish that we don't like it. It's because what it is. Anyway, a whole lot of cope in here. And he also wrote, to be fair, paganism is the inevitable result of being completely anti-Israel. Paganism means everything that's not Jewish. Paganism is anybody that doesn't worship the Jewish God like Christians, Jews, and Muslims do. So again, real Bryson Gray being consistent and getting this right, spitting some facts, owning Harrison on his Christian Cope attacking pagans post, saying pagans are the psyop. And he's right. If you're not anti-Bible, if you're not anti-Christian, you're not anti-Yahweh. You're not anti-Judaism if you can't criticize the Torah. If you affirm the Old Testament as the Word of God, you're not against Judaism. You're not against Torah, Messianic, apocalyptic Judaism. So very true. Thank you for that, Bryson Gray. So first, a couple clips of what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan. A whole lot of provocations and clashes. Just like this is like the Tommy Robinson of America now. And we're going to get into a little bit of this guy's background. Apparently he's half Jewish and went and kissed the wall in Israel. Now he's wearing the cross on his sleeve and chanting the Christ is King, doing the Esau Ishmael Christian Islam clash. Let's see a couple of these clips. Very viral clips. 112,000 likes from your Jewish Christian leader here.
We've taken the streets of Dearborn! We've taken the streets of Dearborn!
Christians against Islamification is his sign. Looks like they got about, I don't know how far back this goes, but this looks like they got like maybe 20 people. Isn't this Antifa BLM tactics, by the way? Shutting down streets, impeding traffic?
We've taken the streets of Dearborn!
Oh, it's not Christians, it's Americans. Okay. Point deducted.
We've taken the streets of Dearborn!
Not very many people. We could put together a showing like that, maybe. All right, here's another one. Ooh. I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing that. Let's see that. Dude, you should have been. Oh, you're racist if you don't want Muslims taking over whole cities in Michigan. They will physically attack you for it. Dude, this guy doesn't have somebody standing next to him. He's just going to allow these counter-protesters to walk right by him and sucker punch him. I hope they charged him. That guy better be in jail. Yeah. Sucker punch and then run away like a little bitch. He was a kid.
I was punched right.
Turning the other cheek. Yeah, turns the other cheek like a good Christian.
But a police officer lady, so it's okay.
Okay, if you didn't see that there, he is slapping the Quran with some bacon. This is disrespectful. This is disrespectful. Dude, these Christians, these Muslims, these rabbis, they all want blasphemy laws so that to silence people and punish people for criticizing or not believing in their flavor of Yahweh. All of them. Here's another one. I think another attack. Oh, they're attacking him even more. Where are the police?
Take it.
Anna says, at least unpack the bacon. Well, we don't want to get salmonella. You don't want to be rawing, swinging raw bacon juice around. Stuff's... Is that the Christians counter-protesting? Yeah, a Jew can't touch bacon either. You're right. So he's Jewish. We're going to get into his background. He's Jewish, but apparently he's turned Christian. That's the story, I guess. It's not big. It's not much of a shift.
You got your Quran!
Beep. Oh, let's get the TTS turned on. I forgot. Powerchat.live/no more news. Looks like we already got one in. Should play here in a second. All right, let's go. Oh, there's protests in front of synagogues in New York also. We're going to get to that in a second. Kosher pig, Jesus bacon. Yeah, his January 6th cellmate says he's a Fed. He was in jail for January 6th as well. Says he's a Fed, but I mean, everybody says everybody's a Fed. If we're just going off somebody saying something, what does that really mean?
Green Pill Muslims sent
here we
$10.
go.
America's foreign policy in the Middle East caused the flood of Arab immigrants to America.
It's true, some of it. But I think Muslims should
sent $10 on Rumble.
make
Paying
their
my
countries
Gorham
great
registration
again.
in advance.
Thank you. Confirm no small hat. Thank you.
Get away from me, Arab.
Oh my God, these are the people in the comments all day. Oh, just unite with these kooks.
Guys, we're here at the anti-Sharia law Dearborn. We're on the opposition side. Guys, we're at the bus where he's spray painted cuck on the thing. Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck! No, I'm playing. Yes!
Pig is a sacred food to whites. Who doesn't love pork and bacon? My favorite. Ham. I'm ready for some Thanksgiving ham. Also, honey baked ham.
Yeah! Allahu Akbar! Hey, we got freedom of religion! You're out here yelling Allahu Akbar. Yeah, yes!
Freedom of religion. See, that's the problem. Freedom of religion.
Allahu Akbar! Hey, no Allahu Akbar! God is great!
See what this turns into? Allah Akbar, Christ is king. We want Moshiach now. Do you see what this is? If everybody's fighting over who the Messiah is and who the prophet is and who has the covenant, you've already lost. You've already succumbed to the Jewish paradigm.
He has bacon! No! No! Guys, he got maced! Get him to safety! No! What happened to him? Disgusting fuck pepper sprayed him! No! No! You know, guys, actions have consequences! I'm asking you. You've done nothing, so shut your...
Why are you flossing your teeth, dude? Out in public.
Burn it, which is a no-go, man. Get away from me, Arab!
All right, total spectacle, total clown show over there, and this is the guy at the center of all of it. What is it? Jake Lang is his name, kissing the wall with his small hat, wrapped up in the tefillin.
America first, America only. God bless America. Jesus is king. Jesus is king. Jesus is king. Jesus is king. Jesus is king.
Funny how this guy's doing the Christ is King anti-Muslim shtick, just like Tommy Robinson. Isn't that interesting?
America first.
And here he is in the other video, really wearing that cross. Nothing they fear more, by the way, right? Nothing the wall kisser fears more.
Christ is King of Dearborn. Jesus Christ is King of Dearborn.
No, he's not. No, he's not. The Muslims are running Dearborn. You can say your Jewish superhero is king. Oh, he's the king in heaven. He's the invisible king. Now, this just seems like a cope to me. He's the king. Like, it's so stupid too. Muslims love Jesus and think he's a prophet and think he's going to return to destroy the Antichrist. And this is what we're fighting about. This is the Judeo-Abrahamic matrix circle jerk. What we should be doing, all these people should be talking to the Muslims, be like, hey, guess what? Abraham story is fake. He never existed. We don't need to be fighting over who have the covenant. We don't need to believe in apocalyptic wars. That's what should be happening. No, but they want the clash. The Esau versus Ishmael clash that we're going to play the rabbi clips. Talk all about all the time.
Jesus Christ is King of Dearborn, Michigan. Pick up your crosses and walk, America. Do not be asleep. Wake up before the giant of Islam crushes you. Let's roll. Let's rock and roll. Let's start our march.
74,000 likes. Here's his video at the wall. Protect the Holy Land. He looks quite a bit younger here. Apparently people went and dug up these videos and pictures that were still on his timeline, and then since they were all drawing attention to it, he took them down. Looks really happy. And even then, he was doing the Islam shtick. Just like Laura Loomer, just like Apostate Prophet. All these Zionist propagandists. This other one too, that's there, Cam Higbee. This Cam Higbee right here with Netanyahu. This was like a month ago, him with Netanyahu, and now he's riling up the Christians versus the Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan. Nothing sus there, right, guys? Let's see. Hey, everybody's criticizing Jews and Israel and Zionist power. Well, hey, let's get them focused back on fighting with the Muslims. Hey, let's pin the Christians and the Muslims and Esau and Ishmael against each other some more. Let them destroy each other. We see what's going on here. Here he is burning the Quran and the Talmud, so I don't know. He watched Nick Fuentes. He believes in Jesus now, and he won't burn the Torah, though, will he? Let's see this one. Apparently he's had a change of heart, or is this sincere? Is he just meant to be a provocateur? Do I need to start burning Bibles and Talmuds and Qurans and all of the Abrahamic religion texts?
Jesus is king. No Talmud.
I don't think so. Only if you could. It just makes their victimhood even more. Just strengthens their victimhood. Burning books doesn't make anybody that believe in those books. It just makes them believe harder. Actually.
Jesus is king. No Talmud. No Quran. America's a Christian country.
So we got this Jewish kid that goes and kisses the wall, shilling Christ as king, provoking Christian and Muslim clashes, and people still aren't going to put it together. What's going on here?
Oh my God, we'll have our home again. My God, we'll have our home. My blood or sweat will get there yet. My God, we'll have our least of these people. Foreigners now, our names are spat and cursed. Least of these people.
He said, the problem is the belief of these people. What about the New Testament, dude? The New Testament says salvation is of the Jews, and it's the New Testament that's got all these Christian Zionists in our politics. American version of Tommy Robinson. Yep. You think going to a Muslim city and chanting Christ is King is going to make them convert?
I wish I could go back in time and taste the bacon Antiochus epiphanies made on the altar of the Jerusalem temple in the 2nd century BC.
Yeah. That was probably the bombest bacon that the Greeks had in that temple.
Take over in other people, regardless of the...
I think he's spitting facts in this one right here.
Have one people take over another people, regardless if they're Christian or not. You lose your identity. We're losing our identity as white Americans, Europeans that immigrated here with our own architecture, our
Yeah, he's criticizing other people's beliefs as if his aren't a problem.
own language, our own foods, our own culture, our own everything. And so, my Christian brothers across the world, I love them, but it doesn't mean we need to have every other type of Christian. It doesn't mean we need to move 300 million Christian Nigerians into America and have it become like a Nigerian Christian country. America has its own bloodline and its own demographics here, and we barely have any. White
Fellow
people are
white.
7% of the world. We are a super minority. Why can't we have just a couple homelands? Australia, Europe, America. Please leave our countries alone. We want to have our own cultures. We have one people take over.
Because everybody's chimping the fuck out.
I believe they're going to cancel the 6:30 City Hall meeting
Because everybody's chimping the fuck out. They're chimping the fuck out. I don't have bananas. Chill out. I don't have bananas. This is not America. This is an insurgency. They are taking over our country.
See, we just can't allow a cult like this into Western nations. That they want Allah to take over. All these Abrahamic religions wanting their version of the Jewish religion to take over.
They're taking over our country. They want us all dead. Let's go next.
Wow, what's happening right now? People are pushing.
This one.
Whoa. This is Dearborn, Michigan right now.
Yes, this is Dearborn, Michigan. Any racist is not welcome. No races here. If you can't be peaceful, but every race is welcome. If you're a racist, you're not welcome.
At all, we do not.
Every race is welcome.
So foreigners come into your country, and then it would be like if a bunch of whites went into some Muslim country, and then they're saying like, "Oh, you're changing things. You know, you're not following the law. Your women aren't covered up enough." And then they go, "You can't be racist. You're not allowed to be racist against us." Counter jihad is totally Jewish. Yeah, that's probably why it hasn't stopped it. It's meant to continue clashing, and they knew it would happen. And we're going to get to all the rabbi clips of them reveling in it and talking about it and fantasizing about it.
1, 2, 3. Our president is a pedophile.
I believe.
So they come in and then they say, "You can't oppose it. You can't oppose the spread, the growth, all the changes in culture." Trying to elect their people and take over local politics, has kept happening. That's how you end up with a Muslim mayor of England and many others. Remember the guy in Scotland? He's like, "Oh, Scotland's too white. There's too many white people in power in Scotland. Too many Scottish people in charge." Let's see what Cam has to say. Again. Huge Christian Zionist, by the way. Let's hear.
I'm a journalist. I'm not a protester. This is my badge. Okay. Today on the streets of Dearborn, I was pepper sprayed, maced by protesters because I asked them simply why they were harassing and touching another individual who had stated repeatedly that he was only on their side of the street to talk to them and have a dialogue. My phone was smashed. You can see the broken camera right there. They stole $50 out of my pocket and they stole my microphone receiver. I went and I told one of your officers, badge number 3668, that this had happened. He told me there was nothing that could be done about it unless I went to the station. I told him, I can't go to the station. I'm working. I'm doing my job.
No-go zones. They take over the police departments, and then they let them get away with it, too.
I'm working, too. I said, yeah, your job is to protect me and all of the people that are out here today, okay? So we said that I could go into the station later. I told him, you're never going to catch the guy if I go into the station later. He's going to leave. He's dressed head to toe in black bloc. I filmed the whole thing, but he had a mask on his face. You'll never, ever get an opportunity to arrest that person ever again if you don't go and get him right now. He said,
who's this guy, too? Has anybody ever seen this before? He was on the streets.
Case equals sent $5 on Rumble. Clearly an agent provocateur for Mossad or CIA. This is White News Network, by the way. Great interview with Henrik.
White News Network. Got it. Gotcha. Thank you.
I can't leave my post. 5 minutes later, I caught him in the parking lot on a personal phone call. Okay? Repeatedly today, I watched people that are in this room get attacked by other people.
This is Dearborn,
that are
Michigan.
In this room. I watched your officers not respond to those attacks repeatedly. Then I saw somebody who was in this group, which again, I'm a journalist. I'm just documenting what's going on, and I'm here to tell you what's going on. I saw somebody in this group get arrested. I asked the officers.
You know what's crazy too? It's like a total provocation. And it's not like some, there was some incident and then they showed up to protest or something. Like they went into their neighborhoods to try to start a fight.
Habeas corpus, please
it's so obvious
articulate
what's going
probable
on.
cause for arresting this person. They refused to. I asked name and badge number. They refused to give me their name and badge
Okay,
number.
I can't handle
As
the
a member-
kvetching anymore. Sorry, Cam. Here's one more. Let's see what these guys are doing.
Like if it was the Bible, how would you?
No, that's not what we're gonna do. Because the moment I touch the Quran is the moment I have to do something about it. Yeah. You feel me?
What about like if it was the Bible?
I love how they want to be protected and go, oh, freedom of religion, freedom of speech. But then we have the freedom to burn a piece of paper if we want to. But no, then they'll fight you. They'll come into your countries. They'll spread their religion, and if you oppose it, you criticize it, you do symbolic burnings of it, and what do? Then they'll attack you. Sorry, dude, but we got freedom of speech. You're just gonna have to deal with it. It doesn't hurt you. Doesn't hurt you at all to have some paper burned that's got some ink on it. Stop being such a baby.
What about like if it was the Bible? How would you feel the same way? If
We don't touch the Bible. You don't see Arabs going around burning the Bible.
Our religion is to respect every other religion.
Our religion, we respect the elders, we respect every other religion, everything. We don't do that to the Bible, so you don't do that to us.
Two desert cults that I have no interest in at all. And this is what the central conflict is. Zio Wars. Call it Abrahamic infighting Zio Wars.
They would have came and did something to you guys though, right? But they're not. They're trying to.
This is the one that punched him, isn't
They
it?
don't hate other people. But if it was the other way around, it would have came towards us. You know what I mean?
Did you guys know about all this happening today? This
No,
protest?
I woke up. They said, "Yo, we need you at Michigan Ave." I said, "I'm there."
Arabs that talk like black dudes.
On my side. They said, "Hold up." I said, "What? Michigan Ave by the red."
Yeah, he thinks he's black. Yeah, maybe they do assimilate. I saw Andrew Wilson and Richard Carrier were their debate. I haven't seen the whole thing, only clips, but they were arguing over like if Muslims would assimilate or not. And apparently these ones did.
I said, "Hell yeah, I'm there." I'm on free Palestine for the day I die.
Not all of them do, though. Island boys, Arab boys. Okay, that was uneventful. Now, Alex Jones, breaking investigation. Muslim Brotherhood plan to conquer the West is now in high gear. So I love how he has to immediately shift from the rabbis destroying Edom to now fear-mongering and get everybody's attention directed towards the Muslims as the threat, and ignoring that it's rabbis talking about that's the plan to destroy Edom is with the Muslims, the broom. Desert boys. That's funny. So we're not going to play this whole thing, but I want to see a little bit of Jones on this. Of course, no guest on to talk about Edom and the rabbis, but immediately brings on another guest to fearmonger about Islam, all the focus on Islam, like he has over the years so much.
Muhammad was kicked out of Mecca around 622 AD, and he goes to Medina, which was a Jewish city, and the Jews let him in as a Muslim immigrant. He goes into the minority neighborhoods, begins to get a following. His following grows. He gets involved in politics, and he insists that the Jews make a treaty with him. Now he's a political leader. And then he allows his followers to rob caravans headed back to Mecca, and he becomes a military leader. And so within 5 years of Muhammad coming into the Jewish city of Medina, there's not a Jew left in the city of Medina. They were chased out, killed, or enslaved. And so it's a three-step process. Come in as an immigrant, go into minority neighborhoods and build a political following and get involved in politics. And then you have random outbreaks of violence that drive out the previous inhabitants of the neighborhood, and they take over.
The exact same rhetoric, exact same marches, exact same attacks in every Western country. Right when they hit between 5 and 10%, they usually launch at 10, but sometimes they jump the gun. And that's what the stabbings are. That's what all of this is to drive you out of the neighborhood. Then they take control, and they take control of the government. They put the government funds into themselves, and they expand.
To the Western leaders, your borders are fading. Your disease is being sucked out. And
Denmark.
The unity of the Islamic Brotherhood is taking form. The sons of Islam have already pledged that this battle is a battle of either victory or martyrdom. We eject your flags. And the call for jihad has started, and it won't be long before it is you that will be feasted upon.
I want to remind us tonight in this great conference.
How did all these Christian countries allow this to happen, by the way? That's a good question, right? How did all these Christian countries, how did all these based Christian tradcat Christ crusaders allow what's happened in Europe?
That we're here for a reason.
There's not even really that many Muslims in America. Like Dearborn, Michigan is like pretty much the only, isn't that like the biggest? There's about a bunch of Somalis. No, that's Minnesota. There's the Somalis. But most of the non-European immigrants in America are from south of the border, Latin America.
I don't believe that it's an accident that all Muslims from around the world are here in the United States of America. You Muslims as individuals, I'm talking to each one of you, every one of you, brothers and sisters, to get this, that my responsibility to come here is not just to get a good job, not just to get a profession.
Lucas says Amalek first. What's up,
not
Lucas?
just to make money. Yes, do that. Get a good job, a profession, education, get all of that. But in the back of your mind, it must be to deliver the mission. And we got to spread this message to the American people. That's our job.
Jack Stone says the Christians were too busy making anti-pagan memes and fabricating proof for Aryan Rabbi Jesus. Yeah, and worshiping Israel too. Don't forget about that.
As Muslims must begin to challenge the status quo. You have to change the laws. She became the first Muslim.
Change our laws, huh?
In New York City, traffic control, wearing full hijab. She set the precedent. Others came after her. Why? Because she challenged the existing law. If you study all the great prophets, they never gave in, but they challenged the status quo. We have to start challenging the status quo. This is your choice. You go there and say, listen, I want a gas station, but I don't want to sell alcohol. Don't make me sell alcohol.
This is applicable only in an Islamic state and not in this country. How do I convince them that it is a universal law?
No. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, it was total darkness and the light began to change because the Prophet ﷺ in his ummah began to implement step by step until we had everything.
And now I have maps here.
And that right there is more footage and clips that he's ever played of any rabbis talking about their prophetic plans of destruction.
There are Sharia law courts in every major city, including Austin, Texas, where when something happens, they don't go to our courts, they go to their courts. They got their own police cars, everything. Their own communities, everything. And then they come and they take over the city council and they blare at 5 a.m. their dominance. They're called to prayer. And they have prayer rooms in the public schools, but don't you wear a cross around your neck as a Christian.
What's up, Jocelyn?
Bring your dog to the park,
Good
it's
to see
dead,
you,
it's
Jocelyn.
unclean. You don't bring your dog in the edge of our Muslim neighborhood, then you move out because you're being threatened by these Muslims. They take over and expands. It's a Muhammad plan. And as long as you bow down to it, he wins. You stand up to Muhammad like the Crusades, he fails. They took Spain. We took them 500 years to take it back. We're going to take it all back. I declare the new crusade starts now.
There you go.
In the information war, the culture war.
Perfect. Yeah, let's have a crusade. Let's go create a Christian state in the Holy Land. Perfect. Yeah, just do the Esau Ishmael shtick perfectly to the T, Jones. That's perfect.
Will not be conquered by this. What about you?
The Muslim Brotherhood is not just a political movement. It is the ideological mother of some of the deadliest terrorist groups in the modern world. Since its founding, the Brotherhood
he's just going to keep playing more and more clips?
Good. So I've got footage in Houston and Dearborn, Michigan, and Minneapolis, Minnesota, of the call to prayer and the Muslims saying, if we see your dog at the park, we're going to kill it. Dogs are unclean.
Yeah, what do you mean by crusade, too? He keeps calling for crusades. InfoWars was selling crusade shirts. What are you going to do? You're going to get your sword and your shield and your Christ Crusader helmet? You're going to go march over to take back the Holy Land? What are you going to do? He's helping push the shit, obviously. He's been doing that.
And, little kids in burqas. And
yeah, he'll yell from his $1 million studio calling for a crusade.
But the point is, it's a formula. So now, in the UK, in Germany, in Sweden,
Jones will be like, just convert them all to Jesus. Just convince them that Jesus is not just a prophet, but he's the Son of God. Then it's all okay. That's his version of a crusade.
And now it's starting in Canada. They got to put up barriers around Christmas festivals.
This is a good point. I heard this. He makes a good point.
The Muslims say, oh, we love Jesus. He's a prophet. But if you try to have any Christian event, they burn down tens of thousands of churches in Europe. They're burning them down everywhere else.
Tens of thousands of churches in Europe? That seems like a huge exaggeration. Tens of thousands? And they haven't done anything? Jocelyn says education is our only way out of this. Yeah, Christ is king and we need another crusade isn't going to get the job done. It's just like saying Jews killed Jesus and you're the synagogue of Satan. Same shit. Jewish talking points.
If you say a prayer at a baseball game in Houston, Muslims show up and kill you. That was just a few months ago. And they say, we're not going to let you do this. So I can show you the exact stuff in Australia, exact things in Italy, exact things here, with the same flags, the same chants, the same things. And once
I'll tell you, there's been way more churches that just people stop going to church because it's fake Jewish fairy tales. And then Muslims are brought in, and then they turn it into a mosque. That's what's happening to the churches, not being burned down. How many churches have been burned down in Europe in the last 20 years? I'm just going to ask ChatGPT and see what it says. Let's see how close it is to 10,000. Broader figure, close actually. It says broader figure for 2019 estimated 3,000 attacks, including vandalism, burning, and looting. But this is not just burning down. Hold on, look at this actually. France in 2023, France has barbecued. There were 38 criminal arson attacks on churches. Wow, it's worse than I even thought it was. Wow. 2018 to 2022, there were 102 arson attacks on churches across Europe classified as hate crimes. Okay, nowhere near tens of thousands, like he said.
they get up to 5-10% in an area, they're able to swing elections with that number, whoever they get behind, because they vote as a block. It's a total takeover plan. And so we've got a 1,500-year-old.
I love how Jones is going to criticize Islam for being a total takeover plan like Christianity and Judaism aren't. Like, we got clips of Jones saying, everybody's got to bow down to the Messiah. Everybody's got to believe, or we're all going to die. Everybody has to believe in Jesus, or we're all going to die. You got no ground to stand on.
Plan that Muhammad figured out in Medina at the crossroads of the
bioelectoral
come and they take over the city council, and the years take a
minister.
He's just repeating himself. Let's do the Jones playing right into the Edom, Ishmael, Gog, and Magog narrative. Here, see through it all. No, he's not going to share these clips, see through it all. He's playing into it. So let's see the new mix, see through it all, put together for Jones.
Because, yeah, here it is. Europe is Edom, because they're like, we will destroy Europe. Our main mission is destroy Europe. We're going to use the Muslims to do it, because I can show you hours of this. So this is Cuckoo Town.
Before the end, before Mashiach eventually arrives, there's going to be a major turmoil in the world. There's going to be a lot of havoc. There's going to be a major war where you're going to see the nations.
Adam Green, no more news of Maximo.
Ishmael, but ultimately both attacking Israel before Mashiach comes and destroys all of Israel's enemies. This is something I'm sure many of you have heard 1,000 times.
The war of Gog and Magog. Who is going to be involved in this war? So it's going to come. It's going to be in stages. It's going to first start in a sort of a war between Ishmael and Edom. And we could think of it between the Christians and the Muslims. The war is going to be between Islam and Christianity, and at the end it's going to be very interesting, because at the end they're not going to be left with anything, and we'll speak about it also. They're going to be
so they're going to destroy each other. Alex always says like it's Hegelian dialectic.
Maxed out
problem reaction solution
on Rumble. At least when those churches are turned into mosques they will take down their LGBT pride flags, white flag emoji, rainbow emoji.
Sadly, unfortunately, that's probably is true. So Jones is always like, oh, it's the Hegelian dialectic. It's problem, reaction, solution. It's like, I'm exposing the whole thing, folks. I know, I'm calling balls and strikes. I've deeply researched this. And then he's literally feeding right into the Edom role. Back to back, all of his analysis and coverage about the Edom rabbis and the Muslim stuff, all perfectly to the T, playing into the whole script, the roles and all the script.
Deserts of the places, which is where we're living. So now, there's a Zohar in Parshas Vayera that says like this. That says that Ishmael are going to provoke great wars in the world, and they're going to band together the children of Edom, and they're going to go and they're going to challenge Ishmael. And we see that is happening already. Oh, no.
Let's go do a crusade! Crusade on the Muslims! We need a crusade on the Holy Land! Well, who does that sound like?
And they're going to band together the children of Edom, and they're going to go and they're going to challenge Ishmael. And we see that is happening already in Iraq and Iran and Syria and all these things. They're already going and they're attacking the Islam. This is something very interesting. Also, we see we reference a lot when you see, especially when you speak about the current times that we are in, and when you speak about Mashiach, it's very, very often goes back to the fall of the Twin Towers, because that was a huge turnaround in history. But it's very interesting. The numerical value of the Twin Towers in Hebrew, it's Migdalei HaTomim, is 589, and it's also the same numerical value of Melchemet Gog uMagog, the War of Gog uMagog. And it did. After that, there was a lot of wars started because of that. We had to go to Iraq and Afghanistan. The world started changing. Instead of everybody having
9/11, the beginning of Gog and Magog, the third and final clash of civilizations between the West and the East, Christendom and Islam, the beginning of the fall of Edom,
their own lives more or less. All of a sudden, America started getting involved in other civilizations that were way far off, third world countries that are spewing hate against the Western society. And you see that something started brewing then.
Nations, democracies don't go to war easily, and they usually debate and argue before they do. Sometimes
Jacob provoking Ishmael, pretending to be Esau. Good point.
In fact, that's what happened in World War II. All of Europe had been conquered. America was actually bombed in Pearl Harbor, and that was a pivotal event that opened the eyes of Americans. And once their eyes were opened, they gathered the power that is available in this great free nation, and the result was preordained. I think in a similar way, the bombing of September 11th opened the eyes of Americans to see the great conflict and the great danger that faces us.
What's going to happen with Edom? It's going to be it's ridiculous over there, because it says it's going to be a waste. It's going to be like no man's land. Not only that, its palaces will grow thorns, and even more, there is going to be a demon, and it says over here the name, that's because she's going to find her resting place in those lands. Why specifically? What does it mean, a demon that's finding a resting place over there? The answer is because demons usually don't inhabit places where humans are. So there's going to be so desolate that demons are going to be able to go and rest over there.
Is it America?
Edom is all the
She's talking about America, right? Too, no?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and that's going to be not only for Edom, that's going to be also for Egypt. We said Ishmael, Egypt, it says in Yoel, chapter 4.
Demon.
It said Egypt shall become desolate, and Edom will also become like a desert waste. Okay. So now, getting scared? We have a tradition from the Vilna Gaon. So this is going to be the war. The war is going to be involved with the whole war. How long is it going to last? The Vilna Gaon says it's going to last 12 minutes. 12 minutes. And if you think about it, back then, you're talking about 200 years ago, how can you possibly have a war for 12 minutes? By the time you get to the battlefield, it's already a few days. How is it possible to have a 12-minute war? So when I look at the Psukim, you can see that it looks like some sort of atomic nuclear war. And by the way, we see also in Isaiah chapter 26, verse 20, it says, hide for but a moment until the wrath passes, which means we see it denoting a very, very quick time. So when you look about it, when you look about a war that can last only 12 minutes, let's look at the verse in Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 12. And it says like this. It says that his flesh is going to rot while he still stands on his feet. Thank you. His eyes will waste away in their sockets, and his tongue will rot in his mouth. Which means to understand this, first of all, Rashi explains that this denotes the falling off of limbs. They're just going to fall off. But to explain a little bit on this pasuk, we see over here that it's something very interesting. The pasuk says that while he stands, everything is going to rot. What that means is that usually, let's say somebody shoots a bow and arrow or a gun. What happens to the person is that he gets hit and then he falls down and he withers in pain, and that's it, and the process continues from there. In both instances, but if you look at it something like an atomic or nuclear or something of that nature, the pasuk says that the guy, unfortunately the victim, is not even going to have time to fall down. That the limbs are going to start falling off while he still stands. The eyes are going to melt. The tongue is going to melt. The limbs are going to fall off. You're talking about, it really sounds nuclear. It sounds, it really sounds like that. People's limbs are falling off. Their faces are melting. Their sockets are melting and rotting at the same time. You think about something that we've never seen before since the history of the world. It's something that is extremely there's no hiding for it. There's no running away from it.
One thing we do know, that it's written in a book of Zechariah, the Navi Zechariah, chapter 14. It describes how the world will come to an end. And over there, it leaves no doubt that it's talking about a nuclear war. Because it's written that in few minutes, 2/3 of the people in the world will die, which is more than 5 billion people. The Gaon Mivilna say it will take 12 minutes. The Gaon Mivilna wrote. When the Gaon Mivilna wrote it, it was 250 years ago. There were no guns. There were bow and arrow and swords, and maybe some powder to put in a rifle and to shoot a little bit here and there.
Dude, I can't.
There was no
it's such a good prophecy.
weapon of mass destruction. So you can see the Ruach HaKodesh of the Gaon Mivilna that he talks about the prophecy of Zechariah.
He said a war would be
12 minutes. And the world will not come back to what it was. And it will take years to bury the bodies. The whole world will be busy, those who will be left, to bury the bodies of all the dead people. It will take years to bury the bodies.
The land, at the end of the day, is the land of Ishmael and Edom. These are going to land in the desert. They're going to be nothing. They'll talk about investing in real estate, and those places not good. At the end of the day, it's not going to be worth anything. So there's going to be heavy hailstones, like the time of Exodus is going to fall down, and the birds and animals are going to eat the corpses. There's going to be so much bodies over there, and there's going to be just utter destruction throughout the entire world.
Watching these guys fantasize about us being exterminated is
and who is going to survive?
Outrageous.
Only those that go back and return to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, return to the Torah.
At the end of days, 2/3 of the world will be annihilated in the war of Gog and Magog, but 1/3 will remain. And out of that 1/3, they'll be tested, and many of them will survive. So obviously,
the death cult. It's a death cult. Genocidal death cult.
Very small part of the world. And of all the Jews that we know of in the world today, there's maybe 15 to 20 million out of 8 billion people. So 1/3 of 8 billion people is approximately 2.7 billion people. So that's a lot of people. So that's obviously going to be Gentiles, but they're going to be righteous Gentiles that do not follow the teachings of the New Testament or of the Quran, to the point where they are anti-Semitic and idol worshippers or doing things that are against the Torah, but rather are following the laws of the Torah which pertain to non-Jews. So this is the people that go to heaven.
The prophets speak about a great war and great challenges that are going to happen to our people. This war is called Gog and Magog. And there is a big dispute among the rabbis, because it hasn't happened yet, who are the nations involved in Gog and Magog. The final war of Gog and Magog is going to be the final battle between Bnei Ishmael and the Notzrim, Bnei Esav, the Christian Western world, that's going to be taking place in and around Israel, specifically in and around.
How come Alex Jones won't show you these clips? Makes you wonder, right?
That's one of the opinions. Others say
just like all these Christians and Muslims, they won't share these clips. They won't share all of them talking about the role they see Christianity and Islam playing in the world, Judaizing the world. No, they suppress all those because the Christian e-crusaders are part of the conspiracy.
Involve the Jewish people and all
accomplices.
The other nations of the world who are going to come and attack us and try to control us. Sound familiar? Okay, great. The commentators are trying to figure out what Yoel is talking about is going to happen during this battle of Gog and Magog. Okay, sounds like a physical war. And according to Yechezkel, the prophet, Ezekiel, and we're going to see there's two prophecies that talk about the battle of Gog and Magog. We're going to do those in a second. And one from Zechariah as the third prophecy. Okay, we know there's going to be physical battles happening in and around Israel and around Jerusalem, specifically right before Mashiach comes. We're seeing them now. We're seeing them now, as I'm going to show you. Actually, according to the Midrash Tehillim, It says actually these three prophecies of Yechezkel, and Zechariah represent three wars: a world war, a second world war, and then a final world war.
This three-part war, two parts already passed. We have, the first part was World War I. This is what the name of the Chavetz Chaim.
You know, this is what everybody will always share, the supposed letter, the alleged letter that was it Albert Pike sent to, I think, some Italian guy, right? And it says, oh, there's going to be a third and final world war, and it's going to be a clash between the Muslims and the Christians. They all go, oh, that's a Freemason Albert Pike thing, right? No, it's a Kabbalistic, Torah-based conspiracy.
The second part was World War II, and the third part is going to be World War III. He says that, and he said there's going to be about 25 years to 30 years after World War I, there's going to be another war. That's going to be World War II, and he says that war is going to be child play. It's going to be like games to what was done in World War I. And then in a short while after that, there's going to be a World War III, and that is also going to make World War II look like child play.
Right after the First World War, the Chavetz Chaim said this was the first step of Gog and Magog. He said in approximately another 25, 30 years, this is going to be another big milchama, and it's going to make this First World War, what was known at the time as the Great War, look like silly putty. It'll look like a playland compared to what the Second World War is going to be like. Then after that, after a number of years, there will be a third one.
This is the final battle of existence. This is good versus evil, Armageddon, whatever, Gog and Magog.
Good or done or wrong?
Gog and Magog.
See, that was the Habadnik Zelenko on InfoWars calling for Gog and Magog and Noahide laws and decapitation of idol worshippers.
According to the prophets, and according mainly to Zechariah 14, describe a massive attack against the nation of Israel. All the nations of the world united in the beginning, Esav and Ishmael will fight with each other, meaning Christians and Muslims will kill each other, which we see as it is right now. And then one point they'll get up and say, wait a minute, why are we killing each other? It's never going to end. We have a mutual enemy that we should both unite and kill him. Who are they? Israel. And they make a covenant and they turn against Yerushalayim and they come to take Yerushalayim by force. And at that time, women from Jerusalem, I don't want to tell you what's going to happen to them from your respect, and many people would run to hide in holes in the deserts, and it will be a disaster for X amount of time. And then the salvation will begin. HaKadosh Baruch Hu would come and interfere with the war, and will put such death to all these wicked anti-Semite people, will wipe them one after the other. There's the prophet that lives about 2,500 years ago.
Jocelyn 8 cents $10 on Rumble. Adam is the tip of the pagan spear. Keep it up, fam. We are winning and the ancestors smile upon us. 4-leaf clover emoji, sparkles emoji.
We are gaining ground. We are on the march, and we're not going away. Despite all their attacks.
A nuclear war. Yeah, I have to remind you that in his generation there were swords, spears.
In 12 minutes, and that from all of the 8 because to survive is.
All right. I just played a clip the other day.
Possess.
I just played a clip the other day. Oh, look, See Through It All got 5K likes on a video. Nice. All right, hold on. Let's turn this down. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, I played a clip the other day, and a rabbi was like, yes, Islam's going to destroy Europe according to the plans. Play those clips, Jones. No, you want the Esau and Ishmael clashing over who the Messiah is, if the Messiah was God or not. Not trying to raise awareness that all of this is fake and they got you in a controlled Jewish paradigm dialectic fighting over nonsense.
Yes. And the communist Chinese will be the instrument of it because they didn't attack the precious Second Temple.
No, the Muslims will also be in it. All right, this is what's going on now. So it's funny, the Zionists are all going to praise them going into Dearborn, Michigan and provoking Muslims. But then if somebody's, I don't know what group is doing this, but there's a group protesting outside of a synagogue in New York, then they'll say, oh, it's awful. But then when the Christians go do it to the Muslims, they're for it. Let's see this. The state of Israel and its Judaism condemns. It's Jews. It's Nutra Karta out there running cover for Judaism. Look, there's a Jew. Some Palestinians, obviously. Some Palestinian. Is this even outside of a synagogue? Doesn't look like a synagogue to me. The synagogue's probably like around the block, down the street or something, and they're just like, look, they're attacking us. They said last night, Park East Synagogue in New York City, chant death to the IDF. Mark Levin again does the line, says it looks just like 1930s Germany. Heard that so many times. Now, remember I've been talking a lot about, I'm like, when is this Chabadnik rabbi going to get confirmed as the anti-Semitism czar? And he's finally having his confirmation hearings. Let's play a couple clips, a couple highlights, courtesy of Chris Menahan and InfoLib News.
And I ask you,
got these for us. This is a good one. Watch this.
let me just ask you this, and I asked your predecessor, the earlier envoy during the Biden administration, about this. I mean, you would agree with me that it's not anti-Semitic or anti-Jewish.
Brother BD sent $5 on Rumble. I reached out to Prize and Palace. She said she is about ready to relaunch. Maybe you can have her on?
Sure. Pretty sure she told me she was relaunching months ago, but yeah, we'll talk to Prison. Although she hasn't been in the chat either, so I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little hurt.
During the Biden administration about this. I mean, you would agree with me that it's not anti-Semitic or anti-Jewish to criticize the actions of the government of Israel, right?
Thank you, Senator, for your question. I would refer back to the IRA definition of what is okay to criticize. You have a right to criticize a country, but if you are only going to criticize Israel, and that's every statement that you're making, but you're not going to be consistent across the board, in the IRA definitions, it's very, very clear.
So you're not, it's anti-Semitic to criticize Israel if you criticize Israel a lot. And if you don't focus on every other bad thing going on in the world. Double standard, that's the IRA definition. It says holding Israel to double standards. So this is his obfuscation, sophistry way of saying, yes, criticizing Israel is anti-Semitic.
But you're not going to be consistent across the board.
Listen when he says closely. If you're criticizing Israel a lot, it's all you talk about, then it's anti-Semitic. Not allowed to focus on one thing.
You have a right. I would refer back to the IRA definition of what is okay to criticize. You have a right to criticize a country, but if you are only going to criticize Israel, and that's every statement that you're making, but you're not going to be consistent across the board, in the IRA definitions, it's very, very clear that you need to condemn everything across the board and not just single out Israel. When you single out Israel,
sure,
is when it
no problem. I condemn every group of people around the world that think they're chosen by God and that their prophecies, that they're to be the mission, to be the light to the nations, and have all the world worship their God as Noahites. I condemn every single group that does that. No problem. But it's just you guys that does that. So there's no one else to... I'll criticize you, I'll criticize Islam, I'll criticize Christianity. Fair enough? Okay, deal.
That line of that it's becoming an anti-Semitic issue, possibly. If you're going to condemn the killings of Christians in the Sudan or the Uyghurs in China or things that are going on around the globe, and you're going to, at that point in time as well, condemn something that you don't like about a country, that's fine. But if you are particularly singling out Israel, that becomes a greater issue, and that's...
So anytime somebody does talk about Israel, they'll say, you're singling out Israel. Talk about something else, or you're singling out Israel. See this little trick they're playing here? Okay, I condemn every bad thing, every mean person, everybody that's suffered around the world throughout all of history. Am I allowed to criticize Israel now? Nope. You're singling us out. Come on.
Exactly what the IRA definitions have.
She's not buying it,
Well, Mr.
this man,
Chairman,
woman.
Just if I could, I think if you look at members of this committee, for example, across the board, we've been very clear in condemning human rights violations from Chinese actions against the Uyghurs to what's happening in Sudan, to what's happening in Burma, to what's happening in many other places around the world. But I hope you will agree with me that we should be consistent. In other words, the government of Israel should be held to the same standard that we apply to every other country of the world when it comes to human rights. Do you agree with that?
As I said before, Senator, that the IRA definition, if people are abiding by that definition,
No, this is a separate question.
then you
No, I'm just asking you a separate question, Rabbi. No. I mean, you pointed out that we should essentially have the same standard in terms of protection of human rights and justice.
What is this? This is the confirmation hearing for the anti-Semitism czar, who is a Chabadnik. Rabbi.
Self-determination. Should we apply that equally to Israel as many of us do to other countries and governments around the world?
I believe that the administration does apply that equally to Israel.
I think if you look at the Inspector General's report that came out of the State Department recently, they'll find not this administration, but the previous administration completely failed to do that. So, look, let's just make this clear. You agree that criticizing the Trump administration is not anti-American. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So in that sense, criticizing the actions of any government, in my view, is an expression of people's values and principles, and we should apply similar standards going forward, and I hope that we will do that across the board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator.
Oh my God, he sucks. Here, he asked him about Nick Fuentes too. Here is the Fuentes question.
Tucker Carlson's
Tripfeld sent $5 on Rumble. Adam, do you have another source of income besides streaming and being an author? It's fine if you tell me to off, it's none of my business. I was just curious though.
No, that's it. Little personal of a question, but fair enough. No, it's it. My livelihood depends on these super chats. That's why when I get demonetized from Odyssey or PayPal or Patreon or Coinbase or Facebook and YouTube and all those places, it does a huge hit, and they're trying to put me out of business. They're trying to shut me down. All the slander and lies from all the Christian, all the blacklisting, all the gatekeeping. So if it weren't for you guys, it would not be possible.
Decision to bring Nick Fuentes onto
And that's
his
why
show.
every dollar helps.
When the president was asked,
I told you there's going to be a whole thing about everybody trying to get Trump to condemn Nick Fuentes.
Response to Tucker Carlson's decision to bring Nick Fuentes onto his show, and when the president was asked about it, he said, and I'm quoting, "I don't know much about him," referring to Nick Fuentes, "but if he wants to do it, get the word out, you know, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide." Do you think that was a strong enough statement from President Trump to the issue of bringing Fuentes onto that radio platform, or that platform?
Thank you very much for your question. I think the President and the Secretary of State have made it perfectly clear that any type of anti-Semitism is not a place in America. That's number one, and that's something that guides the administration's policy as far as being a private civilian, but if confirmed, that I know is the policy, is anti-Semitism is to be condemned everywhere. Anti-Semitism is not just an American problem, it's a global problem, and a lot of hatred comes from ignorance. People aren't educated. But freedom of speech is something that's a right, and freedom of expression globally is an important part of what the administration's policy is. You have a right to hate, but we have a right to explain and stand up and abhor.
I like that he said that. I don't know if it'll be actually put into effect, but he says you have a right to hate.
Globally is an important part of what the
That's a good
administration's
point.
policy is.
True.
You have a right to hate, but we have a right to explain and stand up.
Do we have a right to hate Judaism? Do we have a right to hate Hashem? Do we have a right to hate the idea of a Moshiach ruling the world? Or are we Amalek and we're going to be destroyed? That should have been the follow-up question.
And abhor everything that you say. That's something that's in this country. And
Yeah, I hate wanting to be enslaved and genocided.
So
Is that
I
okay?
believe very strongly that we can condemn remarks whenever they need to be condemned and educate people. We have to go back to my earlier statement when I said
only Jews are allowed to hate us.
educate
Yeah.
people to not hate and respect one another and understand the facts. If we go back, all I ask is, I tell people, let them meet American soldiers who liberated the death camps. That's the best answer for any Holocaust denier anywhere.
Mr. Chairman, if I could,
Go ahead.
just a follow-up. So, look, I agree with you that the best way to respond to speech is with speech. I'm also a supporter of free speech, and which is why I have to say it's very worrisome that the Trump administration has been locking up some students for expressing their views on Gaza. But my question to you is this. The president didn't respond to the statements Nick Fuentes made with speech. I mean, he didn't say what he stands for. Nick Fuentes is outrageous. And so I would have hoped when asked that the president would take that kind of position going forward.
Yeah, he said, I thought he quoted him in this clip, but what he actually said was like, people need to get the message out. He said, get the message out and people are going to have to decide. And that is true, but I knew that would get everybody seething over Trump. They're going to keep pushing him for a stronger condemnation. Okay, here's his opening statement, delivering his opening remarks at the Senate Foreign Confirmation.
Yankee Rosenbaum was stabbed to death during.
Let's hear what he has
Thank you,
to say
Chairman
here.
Risch.
Maybe speed him up.
Senator Shaheen, ranking member, and the distinguished members of the committee. I would like to acknowledge my family who is here today. My name is Yehuda Kaploon, and I'm honored to be nominated for the important position of United States Special Envoy to monitor and combat anti-Semitism with the rank of ambassador. I want to thank President Trump and Secretary Rubio for placing their trust in me for this very important role. As a child, I would walk to synagogue with my father, the noted educator Rabbi Yaakov Kaploon, in New Haven, Connecticut, and I do remember occasionally hearing the cries of dirty Jew along the way.
Anybody ever been to New Haven and had pizza in New Haven? Isn't New Haven, Connecticut supposed to be real famous for pizza? I think I've had New Haven style. I'm hungry again. I haven't eaten yet today. Anyway.
Later, while living in Crown Heights during the pogrom, when the Australian scholar Yankee Rosenbaum was stabbed to death during the riots with the cries of "Kill the Jews" in the streets.
There was pogroms in Crown Heights?
Sister, Esther Kaploon, passed away from 9/11 related cancers. My cousin, Adi Kaploon, a brave mother, was killed on October 7th, protecting her 2 young children who were orphaned. She was one of the 1,200 souls murdered that day. I sat with Yarden Bibas the night before the funeral of his wife and children. Yes, I have seen the worst that humanity can do. When asked to serve my country by our president in a role that I truly wished did not need to exist, there was no hesitation. I sit before you humbled by the opportunity to serve my country. It is a daunting task. Anti-Semitism is a symbol of larger hatred. History has proven that when a country starts with allowing anti-Semitism, the results are not kind to that country. That is why President Trump...
You hear that? Another threat to America.
History has proven that when a country starts with allowing anti-Semitism, the results are not kind to that country.
Dude, that's the talking
Maxed out
point.
bear
Oh, you
sent
get
$20
crushed.
on
They will
Rumble.
crush you.
That other viewer's question about your income sources, and your answer, made me want to throw a few more shekels in the bucket today.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It is true. I wonder if that's why he asked.
That is why President Trump and Secretary Rubio have stated there can be no compromise with anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is anti-American. Those who chant death to the Jews all too often chant death to America.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, fact check on the Crown Heights pogrom. 1991 in Crown Heights, that's the Hasidic Chabad Lubavitch neighborhood. A car driven by a Hasidic Jewish man, a Chabadnik, in part of the Rebbe's motorcade, ran a red light and struck and killed 2 7-year-olds.
Trippenfeld sent $20 on Rumble. It is.
It is. Thank you. Gavin, Cato, and Angela. Severely injured. Okay, one died, one was injured. The crash ignited long-standing tensions between the predominantly African-American and Hasidic Jewish community. Over the next 3 days, there was widespread rioting, looting, and Jewish-owned businesses, attacks on Jewish residents, damage to property, and confrontations between community members and police. This guy who we just mentioned, Rosenbaum, was fatally stabbed during the violence. Root causes. Not really like a pogrom, more like just a riot or a conflict. It's not like they got out their pitchforks and like, let's all go get the Jews for. And it was blacks too.
We cannot allow anyone to teach children from infancy to kill and to be a martyr. Together, with bipartisan support, we must educate the world to respect one another. Lofty goals, perhaps, but a lesson that I learned from the Grand Rabbi of Lubavitch, as well as from my grandparents and my parents, is to do my best to impact and make the world a better place. I am not a miracle worker. We cannot do this alone. We do this by building bridges through education and friendships and dialogue. We must learn from the past to protect and educate the living. We must educate about the history of the Jewish community in America and the Judeo-Christian values our country was founded on. I pledge to all of you here, I will not waver and I will not rest. I will commit to you to do my very best, if confirmed, to fight anti-Semitism everywhere and to make this world a better arena for God to dwell and spread his blessings upon us all. I am honored to appear before you today, and I look forward to answering your questions.
They want to bring Hashem down to earth in their messianic age. Okay, this is Hutzpah Maxing. See to it all says, 2 Jews threaten America. It will go badly for you if we turn on Israel. Another one of these.
We don't have.
Always with their threats.
I know. I know that the future of Israel is secure. Whether it's for my kids or whether it's for their kids,
trusting
whoever
the plan.
It's for, I know because God promised us.
Because I read it in a book.
Israel is secure. There is nothing written about the future of the United States.
Ooh.
We don't have documentation there.
You are not protected by Hashem.
And therefore,
Goyim.
I kind of implore you, America, for you.
And she's wrong. They all say that the Edom is America, so it is written about in the end times.
Because I like you. I like America. I don't want to see America choose. You know, it says, "V'bacharta b'chaim," choose life. And it says, of course, you know, one of the most famous phrases, I will bless those who bless you and I will curse those who curse you. I want you to be blessed. I want you to choose life. Malka wants that, but the people of Israel want that. The people of Israel
It's not choose life, it's choose
we're
Jews.
Interested in you. We support you. We see the beauty in you. We see what's wonderful in your country.
Look at that. The victory of Jacob is certain. That's so funny. U.S. Look, Trump is wrong. We did not elect you, sir, to divide Israel. U.S. will get cursed. Dana, probably a Christian, probably a Noahide Christian.
We see what's wonderful in your citizens, and we're not Christians, we're Jews, but we see what's beautiful in your faith, and we appreciate you for who you are. And we want you to thrive and prevail in your place on this planet. And if you go against us, that will not happen. It will go badly for you.
That's right.
And we don't want that. We want to bless you. We want to bless you from Judea. We want
You'll
to
be
bless you from
cursed.
Jerusalem. Hashem wants to bless all the good people of the world. I pray that he's blessing you, that he's blessing us, that we're doing things the way that he wants.
Forget about it. Bless you or be cursed. Forget about it. Forget about it. Here's another threat. Jonathan Pollard, the Israeli spy that Trump pardoned and let go back to Israel and got a hero's welcome from Netanyahu, Seriously considering nuking the United States. Oh, how
a choice.
Such great allies. Thank you.
I mean, it's hard for me to admit this. We are now feeding our enemy. I mean, this has never happened in history before, and you have to ask why. And I don't want to hear this business that it's consistent with Jewish morality. It isn't. Anybody saying that doesn't know anything about Jewish morality at all.
Well, I think also our leaders have had their necks in a vice grip.
Thank you, Unity.
$20 on Rumble. It
Thank
is.
you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Other countries.
Unity
Okay,
17 sent $20 on
That's
Rumble.
weird.
Keep up the good work, Adam.
Thank you, Unity.
Example of that. I was
I will.
criticized very heavily for opposing the ceasefire, the American imposed ceasefire in Lebanon on us. And I was told by certain people in the government, look, we didn't have choice because we were being threatened with a complete cutoff of arms. So I listened to this, and the individual telling me this said, you don't believe this, or what? I said, no, I believe that the Biden administration, as I called it, did threaten us. But I said, you're mistaken if you think there's never a choice. There was a choice. He said, well, what? Is it to have our weapons cut off? I said, no, let me bring you back to October 1973, during the Yom Kippur War, when Henry Kissinger instituted an arms embargo against us. He stopped the aerial resupply of our army at that point to extract diplomatic concessions from us. And what happened? What happened was an A-4 Skyhawk was parked at Tel Nof Air Base with some interesting weapons under
Triple
the...
Felon sent $10 on Rumble. That has her hair wrapped up in a doormat.
Yeah. Yeah, they got some funny Jewish headdresses. Look at this. This is interesting. I'm not sure if it's accurate, but it says the second biggest religion. Christianity is the number one religion in every state, obviously. But all of these countries, it's Buddhism is the second, more than Islam. I don't even know of any mosques around me, to be honest. If you told me go to your closest mosque, I wouldn't even know where to go. We probably had like, I don't know, one Muslim family at my school, like my high school. I'm sure it was more than that, but
its
not
wings. And we told the Americans,
Europe,
take
it's a
your
way
eye in
bigger
the
issue
sky
than America.
and take a good look at the airplane that's on that runway. And the next day,
Thunderstorm 9 sent $5 on Rumble. Literally threatening our lives like a mob boss.
I know. I don't know how they get away with it, man. It's chutzpah maxing.
So the guy that I was talking,
which airlift?
To Israel, the arms airlift.
So in other words, we threatened their.
We threatened to use unconventional weapons. I'll leave it at that. And so he said, "Is this what you want us to threaten now?" I said, "Absolutely. Except this time, I want us to go forward with it if necessary. If they think we're bluffing, we go forward with it. Look."
Wait,
hold on. This guy says, this Wally guy says they're considering nuking the United States. This sounds to me like they're threatening to nuke. They're threatening the United States that if they are not supported, they're going to nuke Iran. That's what it seems like to me. Did I misread that?
Leave it at that. And so he said, "Is this what you want us to threaten now?" I said, "Absolutely. Except this time, I want us to go forward with it if necessary. If they think we're bluffing, we go forward with it." Look,
wait, some people might look at this and hear you saying these things and say, he's a dangerous dude. You know, he could, blow up the entire Middle East.
Well, I guess people really haven't been keeping their eyes open since October 7th because the whole Middle East has blown up.
Yeah, you've been blowing it up. You're bombing all of your neighbors. Come on. We have been paying attention. This is a crazy one. Look at this from Syrian Girl. Or actually, I shouldn't even say Syrian Girl. This is from Project Asked. Corey Gill Schuster.
Children?
The gay is Israeli Jew that does all these amazing interviews in Israel. Look at this woman. This is very typical type of mindset, I think.
How many civilians have been killed in Gaza, from what you know?
Who gives a shit?
Okay, but don't you feel like, for example, children?
Is this Larry David in drag? She says, "Who gives a shit how many civilians have been killed?" What do you think, Larry David's in drag?
From what you know.
Who gives a shit?
Okay, but don't you feel like, for example, children?
Children grow up to be Arabs. I shouldn't say this.
How many
Shouldn't
civilians
say
have been
this.
killed
Yeah,
in Gaza?
you should. Not only should you not say it, you should not think it. You should not think stuff like that. Ask yourself why Christians refuse to acknowledge what rabbis really say, what they actually say about Christianity. All the e-crusaders want to steal all the clips that our guys find, but never these clips.
Now, I mentioned before that we have a little bit of a problem with the concept of Mashiach because we have a fake Mashiach in our existence, not our existence, but it's still a problem. Now comes a big question. Why would Hashem allow something like this to happen? People ask, why did Hashem allow October 7th to happen? Why did Hashem allow the Holocaust to happen? So I'm asking another question. The Holocaust was 5 years. October 7th was 1 day. The exile is almost 2,000 years, and we're exiled from a very wicked Malchut. Why Hashem allows that to happen? Did you ever ask the question? I don't understand why the Holocaust happened. It was 5 years, but why an exile of 2,000 years of pogroms? Millions were murdered in those 2,000 years from a certain group of people. I'm not talking about the Arabs doing terror attacks in the last 50 years. I'm talking about the Christians that killed us and slaughtered us for the last 2,000 years. Why would Hashem allow that to happen? So the answer is very clear.
Maybe Hashem isn't real.
Satisfying. Leyasher derech lemelech HaMashiach. To pave the way for King Mashiach. That when the real Mashiach is going to come, right, everybody, right on the spot, everybody will recognize that that's the real Mashiach and everybody will turn back to the truth. That's what our sages say. So almost 2,000 years of exile, but hard exile, with holocausts, and pogroms, and inquisitions, to pave the way to Mashiach. I just quote what I read. I don't come with the explanations.
Okay, I think we got another one too. What Rabbi says about Islam, the role of Islam and Christianity.
Paganism.
This is an old one I played before, but it's a gem.
Empire that was at one point totally pagan becomes essentially 100% Christian. But basically Christianity is imposed upon the native populations in these countries. So for example, the idea of a creator versus the paganism of having many, many gods. These are ideas that were rooted in the Tanakh, the Jewish Bible, and become spread through the missionary efforts of Christianity, basically presenting basic Jewish ideas to the rest of the world. Why were they so successful in spreading to the entire world? Possibly, this all plays into God's plan that if the Jewish Messiah came to a pagan world, the world would not notice, it wouldn't register, because the idea of a Jewish Messiah in a pagan world doesn't engage them, it's irrelevant. Where the two dominant religions, Christianity and Islam, are basically religions that have an adversarial relationship with Judaism. Because the claims of Christianity, the claims of Islam, are mutually exclusive with the claims of Judaism. By having the spread of Christianity and Islam through the entire world now is learning about these primary basic concepts that are relevant to Judaism. And that it's preparing the world for the ultimate revelation of when Mashiach finally comes, when the Messiah finally comes, the world is going to be able to have an aha moment. They're going to be able to say, oh, now we understand. Now we see what the Jewish people were always talking about.
For the Jewish Messiah to come, Jews need to fulfill 3 conditions. Posted by John. This is another Corey Gilshoe.
Clearly what they are trying to do.
Oh, this is an old Johnny Gat.
ברמב"ם כתוב שאיך יודעים מי המשיח? אם הוא יהיה מלך והוא יכבוש את כל ארץ ישראל. יקים את בית המקדש ויחריט את זרעו של עמלק.
Smite the seeds of Amalek.
For their Messiah to arrive, they need to conquer the land of Israel, which is Palestine, rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, and genocide their enemies, which is clearly what they are trying to do.
And the blot out Amalek is also often conflated with the destruction of Edom also. Man, I miss that voice. Anybody recognize that voice? It'd be nice to hear that voice again on some new videos if he's out there. He got too black-pilled, I think. He got too black-pilled. He got too fed up with the disinfo, the shills, the lack of support. No, that's old. I don't think he's back. He hasn't been back for a long time. He's come back before, though. There's always hope. All right, here's a new one. Another rabbi talking about Edom in America. Let's hear.
Are we going to see something amazing in 2026? Are we going to see the coming of Mashiach? Is it possible we could see America rule the world for 9 months and possibly Iran go on a conquest throughout the Arab nations in the Middle East? Where am I getting this from? So first I want to talk briefly about some current events, and then we're going to go into 2 Gemaras, and I think we're going to see something really incredible. I think I saw a recent news article that he's okayed a military strikes inside Venezuela, and if America were to overthrow Maduro, I mean, America would gain control of a great amount of the world's oil, and then we'll see that eventually there is this idea in the Gemara that Persia, Iran would fall into the hands of Edom of Rome, and the strength of Western Rome in the modern world is the USA. And it's also interesting, USA, the letters, they also make up Esau's name, Esau, the brother of Yaakov, the brother of Jacob. So there's big things in store for America. And if they were to conquer Venezuela, to overthrow the government there, replace it with like a democratic government, and then potentially, we'll see in the Gemara, if this great war between America and Iran, I mean, America is the lone superpower. They would be unstoppable, and it would be very easy to see how they could take over the world for this 9-month period during their 250th anniversary.
I see everything connected in such a beautiful way. Not that I'm chas v'shalom saying in a negative way, but when I saw the videos with the assassination, attempt of the assassination, I was like, give me a day or two, I'll figure out the message here. But this is an amazing message. This is not a regular event.
I haven't seen this.
This is not a regular event. Obviously, Hashem didn't want Trump to die. Take from it for more, whatever you want to take from that. I take from that Trump is and probably will be the leader of Edom to give the crown to Melech HaMashiach.
Wow.
Listen, there's a video that the Lubavitch Rebbe says that to Bibi.
No, actually, that's not on video of him saying that. It was reported that the Rebbe said that Bibi was going to hand the keys to the Moshiach, or that he hoped he would hand the keys to Moshiach. There's video of him meeting with Netanyahu saying he hopes he does more to hasten the Messiah now, speedily in our days. But that part wasn't on video. I've never seen that video, but this guy's watching the internet conspiracies about Chabad, apparently.
Right? You saw the video. I'm sure you saw the video.
No.
That Lubavitch Rebbe is saying to Bibi, you're going to give Mashiach the keys to the government, to the country. Listen, such a statement from a tzaddik. But maybe we'll, how do you see? Nivachach ladad. We'll see very soon.
Trump gave the keys of America to Netanyahu. Remember that one? Jake Tapper reached out to J.D. Vance to get a disavowal of Nick Fuentes and received no reply.
Vice President Vance has weighed in on these issues only of Fuentes or Carlson, or even condemned either of them. Vice President J.D. Vance, considered the next leader in the MAGA line of succession. He's no stranger to questions.
It did sound like somebody was peeing in the background. Yeah, I heard that too.
It's about Republicans espousing anti-Semitism in the last few months, following the Young Republicans texting scandal, which was first reported by Politico, which included one message where one of the Young Republicans said, quote, "I love Hitler." Vice President Vance characterized those expressing outrage as,
Thorsrud sent $5 on Rumble. Time to pay some rent, Baruch Hashem.
Thank you for supporting Thor's Rune. Every dollar helps, guys. Tithe your shekels to support the show, please.
And the vice president repeatedly referred to the participants as kids, even though the ages of the people in the group range from 18 to 40. Fuentes is, of course, a Nazi of a more loathsome order than those on that text chain, and he has a history of going after not just Jews, but Vice President Vance. He called
this
he
Nazi
said a number
labeling.
of nasty things about his wife. Vance himself called Fuentes a total loser in a 2024 CBS interview before the election, after Fuentes attacked his wife Usha Vance and her Indian heritage. Here's just one of these vile moments. A quick warning to our viewers: this condemnation of Vance by Fuentes is not pleasant to listen to.
Now they're all in favor of a fat race mixer who's married to a Jew.
Athabasca sent $10 on Rumble.
You.
The Z-Clog Group, a secretive group of Zionist billionaires who want to turn the USA into a theocracy, are real. They are the enemy within. Keep up the good work.
Ziklag Group. Are they secret? Can I Google them? It means press down from its Hebrew root. Hardship testing preparation. That's what Ziglag means. You said they're promoting Christian nationalism? Oh, it's a Christian organization. Interesting. I've never heard of this group. Hold on. Look at this. Ziglag is a Christian organization named after the biblical city of Ziglag. Its membership is exclusively for individuals with a net worth over 25 million, as well as faith-based interests. Organization is to have strong influence over the seven mountains. Oh, it's so the Dominionism. I have heard of the Seven Mountains Dominionism people. Revenue was 12 million. Lance Walnew, Christian nationalists. I've heard of him before. I've seen clips of him. Take down the education system. They were behind Amy Coney Barrett. What is this? Oh, associated with Turning Point. Eric Metaxas also involved with them as well. Interesting. I'm going to have to keep my eye on these guys. Thank you.
Now, this week and last, I repeatedly asked Vance's office for any comment about this internal war about Fuentes, specifically about Tucker Carlson platforming Fuentes, and there was no response. This weekend, Vance did weigh in on something related to this issue. It had to do with another member of the Carlson family, Tucker's son, Buckley, who works for Vance. And Vice President Vance, attacked just some rando on Twitter as a, quote, scumbag, because this woman claimed that Tucker's brother idolizes Nick Fuentes and questioned whether Tucker's son, Buckley, who works for Vance, is a vile bigot, too. We here at CNN have absolutely no idea if Tucker's relatives feel any way about Fuentes.
JD defended
but
him.
It is clear from recent Twitter posts that his brother, also named Buckley, supports Tucker's platforming of Fuentes. Again, in August.
Also, there's stuff with interview going around this morning of Nikki Haley's son is like a little groiper or something now too.
2024, a few months before being elected, Vice President Vance condemned Fuentes. But since then, since the inauguration, Vice President Vance has weighed in on these issues only to defend people using anti-Semitic or racist language. He certainly hasn't called any of them scumbags. So on this Republican civil war, on whether it's okay to platform Nazis or espouse anti-Semitism, President Trump has weighed in, as has Vice President Vance. President Trump clearly leaning on the idea of free speech to make his point. Yet at the same time, Trump, of course, has no problem trying to get comedians who make fun of him fired. Clearly, neither President Trump nor Vice President Vance are shy about attacking or insulting anyone they don't like. They have opted to not do so when it comes to Nazis like Nick Fuentes. At a time when hate crimes against Jewish Americans are only rising in the United States, the president and the vice president, when it comes to this civil war, they've made their views clear. They're not going to condemn Nazis. They're not going to condemn those who platform them.
Dude, seething. Seething, seething, seething. Here's some more. Obama speechwriter Sarah Hurwitz, I assume Jewish, laments to the Jewish Federation that people are finding content from Al Jazeera and Nick Fuentes on social media and the videos of the carnage in Gaza, she says. Let's hear what they're saying.
I think that since October 7th, but really before then, there have been huge shifts in America on how people think about Jews and Israel. And I think that is especially true of young people. So we are now wrestling with a new, I think, generational divide here. And I think that's particularly true in that social media is now our source of media. And this, it used to be that the media you got in America was American media, and it was pretty mainstream. It generally didn't express extreme anti-Israel views. You had to go to a pretty weird bookstore to find global media and fringe media. But today, we have social media, which is a global medium, right? Its algorithms are shaped by billions of people worldwide who don't really love Jews. And so while in the 1990s...
Hold on. Algorithms are not shaped by billions of people. The algorithms are shaped by the engineers at the big tech platforms. Get that straight. Already getting something totally wrong, like she doesn't understand. All right, the algorithms are shaped by the people. That's not the way an algorithm works. People are shaped by the algorithms, is how it works.
Its algorithms are shaped by billions of people worldwide who don't really love Jews. And so while in the 1990s, a young person probably wasn't going to find Al Jazeera or someone like Nick Fuentes, today those media outlets find them. They find them on their phones. It's also this increasingly post-literate media, less and less text, more and more videos. So you have TikTok just smashing our young people's brains all day long with video of carnage in Gaza. And this is why so many of us can't have a sane conversation with younger Jews, because anything that we try to say to them, they are hearing it through this wall of carnage. So I want to give
videos are out. They've seen all the dead kids. Now our propaganda's not working. That's what it sounds like to me.
And facts and arguments, and they are just seeing in their minds carnage, and I sound obscene. And, I think, unfortunately, the very smart, bet that we made on Holocaust education to serve as anti-Semitism education, in this new media environment, I think that is beginning to break down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, Holocaust education is absolutely essential. But I think it may be confusing some of our young people about anti-Semitism because they learn about big, strong Nazis hurting weak, emaciated Jews. And they think, anti-Semitism is like anti-black racism, right? Powerful white people against powerless black people. So when on TikTok all day long they see powerful Israelis hurting weak, skinny Palestinians,
it's backfiring.
That they think, I know, the lesson of the Holocaust.
Their propaganda is backfiring against them.
People hurting the weak people.
Wow. What an admission there. She basically just admitted that they're the Nazis persecuting the Jews in Palestine by that analogy, right? So it sounded like to me. Carlson goes off on mega commentators trying to cancel him and Fuentes.
Follow you? You want to sell your ideas to them? You want to convince them that what you're saying is true? Show some love for them. Demonstrate that you love, that you care about them. Why are we doing this? Because we think it's better for you. Shapiro and all of these guys. They don't make an effort to do that because they don't feel that way at all.
At all. He always says that. At all is one of his taglines. At all. At all. At all. At all. Watch. Whenever we watch Tucker from now on, keep your ears peeled for at all. At all.
Oh. Shut up, cattle. You're a Nazi. Give us the money for our preferred little country.
Cattle.
Or else we're going to denounce you.
Jocelyn again,
Jocelyn
thank you.
sent $10 on Rumble. The ancient Norse celebrated Mother's Night, where they honored their female ancestors the night before the winter solstice.
Simp.
I love that.
Sounds like a pagan simp ceremony. No, I'm just kidding. That sounds awesome. Yes, we love our women, for sure.
Man, those attitudes are incompatible with leadership and, in fact, with democracy itself.
Pete Rules 247 sent $5 on Rumble. Adam, it's so over. The prediction of the movement falling over like a tower because its controlled opposition is so true. SMH. Hopefully some people wake up.
I feel overrun. It feels overrun. It feels like the walls are closing in. Feels like there's a runaway train heading right off the cliff. People are falling right into the trap. Distracted and by all the drowned out by all the kosher distraction, kooky conspiracies, and Christian-controlled op talking points. It does feel that way. I'm not going to lie.
Have a country of 350 million people governed by boutique goals and concerns. I really care so much about this thing, and you better care about it too, or else I'm going to attack you and deplatform you. It doesn't work. It's illegitimate, actually. And if you keep it up, you're flirting with, real backlash, like a real one. Not Nick
Real,
Fuentes.
like really.
Like a real one.
Like
So
seriously, real.
Listen to other people. Don't treat them like cattle. Treat them like human beings.
Don't treat us like cattle. Stop treating us like cattle, Jews. We're not goyim cattle only when we're sheep worshiping Jesus.
You want people to
This is a funny clip of Nick. This is how I feel about the Groypers.
Anthony sent $20. Hey Nick, single dad of 4 here.
Goyim cattle.
Alternative forms of entertainment for my children that isn't literal
Goy
practice of
cattle.
Islam.
Watch.
Would you ever consider doing a version of your show that's appealing and fun for kids while also teaching about America First values and Jewish skepticism? Thank you and God bless.
That's got to be. How could that possibly be a real? I refuse to believe a real person wrote that. A kids show about the Jewish question? Like, what is wrong with you people? That's it. I'm on Team Barry Weiss. Forget it. It's cooked. I'm on Team Shapiro now. I'm on Team Barry Weiss because this is the problem. We are goyim. Okay, the goy cattle get up and they're like, I want a show for my kids to teach them about the Jewish question. And you're like, okay, Barry Weiss, if you can hear me, please save me. Barry Weiss, if you can hear me.
He's not kidding. He sees
That's got to be bait. Like, that's not.
He knows. He'd be like, he knows.
I always wonder how dumb this goyim sometimes can be.
That's what I wonder. I sympathize. This is how I feel when I see all the Christian goyim cattle out there. Sheep following their Jewish shepherd. Total cattle. Most people are low IQ and uninformed, and they like to be duped. They like to be tricked. So that's why Christianity and Islam is so popular, I think. Goy cattle Christians.
Not a real question. There's no one is really like that. And if you are real, I'm going to pretend you're not anyway. I deny your existence.
I feel you're reluctant to give in.
Stop acting like goyim cattle. Speaking of goyim cattle leaders, here's the Pope ramped up his criticism of Trump's hardline immigration policies. Says immigrants living in the U.S. were being treated by the administration in a manner that was, quote, extremely disrespectful.
I think we have to look for ways of treating. I think there are a lot of problems in the system. No one has said that the United States should have open borders. I think every country has a right to determine who and how and when people enter. But when people are living good lives, and many of them for 10, 15, 20 years, to treat them in a way that is extremely disrespectful, to say the least, and there's been some violence, unfortunately, I think...
Well, when they fight back or they don't...
Of treating people humanely, treating people with the dignity that they have. If people are in the United States illegally, there are ways to treat that. There are courts. There's a system of justice. I think there are a lot of problems in the system. No one has said that the United States should have open borders. I think
not open borders.
Right to determine who and how and when people enter.
Okay, so I heard people saying that he was walking back or clarifying some of his statements or something, but here we have now Pope Leo's lead U.S. bishops release a new video condemning the Trump-Vance inhumane deportation raids. Well, how else are you going to deport the illegals without a raid? Hey, you're going to send them a letter and say, hey, you're an illegal, you're going back. You think they're going to show up and leave? No, they're going to disappear. They're going to hide like they did when they first came in illegally.
Already been separated. As pastors, we, the bishops of the United States,
are bound to our people by ties of communion and compassion in our Lord Jesus Christ. And we are disturbed when we see among our people a climate of fear and anxiety around questions of profiling and immigration enforcement.
We are saddened by the state of contemporary debate and the vilification of immigrants. We are concerned about the conditions in detention centers and the lack of access to pastoral care.
We lament that some immigrants in the United States have arbitrarily...
Hold on, I know how to make this better. We can make this video have a little more impact. Here we go.
lost their legal status. We are troubled by threats against the sanctity of houses of worship and the special nature of hospitals and schools.
We are grieved when we meet parents who fear being detained when taking their children to school, or when we try to console family members who have already been separated from their loved ones.
Despite obstacles and prejudices, generations of immigrants.
$5 on Rumble. I've missed a few live streams. My hat was getting smaller and smaller by the day.
Without
Thanks
the
so much
shekels.
for your show, man. It really is the best. I'll catch the rest on replay.
You're the best, Parisia.
Immigrants have made enormous contributions to the well-being of our nation. We as Catholic bishops love our country and pray for its peace and prosperity.
For this very reason, we feel compelled now in this environment to raise our voices in defense of God-given human dignity.
Catholic teaching exhorts nations to recognize the fundamental dignity of all persons, including immigrants. We bishops advocate for a meaningful reform of our nation's immigration laws and procedures.
Oozing with masculinity.
And national security are not in conflict.
Christ Crusaders. This is what real Christians sound like.
Will work together.
We recognize that nations have a responsibility to regulate their borders and establish a just and orderly immigration system.
What are the odds one of these guys has raped a kid? What do you think?
Without such processes, immigrants face the risk of trafficking and other forms of exploitation. Safe and legal pathways serve as an antidote to such risks.
The Church's teaching rests on the foundational concern for the human person as created in the image and likeness of God. As pastors, we look to the sacred scripture and the example of the Lord himself, where we find the wisdom of God's compassion. The priority of the Lord, as the prophet reminds us, is for those who are most vulnerable.
The prophet said.
Or the stranger.
In the Lord Jesus, we see the one who became poor for our sake. We see the Good Samaritan who lifts us from the dust. And we see the one who is found in the least of these. The Church's concern for neighbor and our concern here for immigrants is a response to the Lord's command to love as he has loved us.
To our immigrant brothers and sisters, we stand with you in your suffering.
Whoa, is that John Stewart?
One member suffers also. You are not alone. We note with gratitude that so many of our clergy, consecrated religious and lay faithful, already accompany and assist immigrants in meeting their basic human needs. We urge all people of goodwill to continue and expand such efforts. We oppose indiscriminate...
Schumer's leading a resolution in the Senate to condemn Fuentes? Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
Deportation of people. We pray for an end to dehumanizing rhetoric and violence, whether directed at immigrants or at law enforcement.
No, hey Catholics, no anti-immigrant rhetoric, please. Think about the animals, think about the puppies, think about the starving children.
Pray that the Lord may guide the leaders of our nation, and we are grateful for past and present opportunities to dialogue with public and elected officials.
Oh my God, you're totally right. I just said, oh, there's going to be a whole lot more pressing for condemnations of Nick, and look at this. Chuck Schumer. Just 2 hours ago. I am leading a resolution in the Senate to reject Nick Fuentes and his white supremacist views. Dude, they are going to put him into the stratosphere. They have to be doing this on purpose. You think you're going to slow him down by condemning him? And you think Chuck Schumer so dumb that he's going to condemn Nick Fuentes, a resolution in Congress, and this is going to
Thunderstorm
stop
9
him?
cent $10 on Rumble.
Not make him way more
Christianity is
popular?
80% non-so, being a business they care only about their customers, not Europeans.
True, yeah, they need more ties. They need more foreigners to fill their churches. Definitely. Dude, yeah, how does he not know that this is going to backfire? Anti-Semitism and white supremacy is growing, disturbing currency within the right. We must all condemn anti-Semitism and white supremacy wherever and whenever it occurs. Wow. Dude.
Thornbury Dome sent $5. England
They
is
can't be
right
this
on
dumb.
one old fact. Punishing employers of illegals would make them all voluntarily leave. This ignored solution is proof this quenching is all Jew theater.
What was that? Punish businesses that hire illegals? Yeah, that should be the law. How is that not the law?
In this dialogue, we will continue to advocate for meaningful immigration reform. As disciples of the Lord, we remain men and women of hope, and hope does not disappoint.
May the mantle of Our Lady of Guadalupe enfold us all in her maternal and loving care and draw us ever closer to the heart
Lady of Guadalupe. This is the group that condemned Nick Fuentes and the Groypers, speaking of. Yet they still shill Catholicism and don't criticize them for all of this. Look at this. A church in North Carolina was caught hosting a nonprofit training hundreds of people on hiding criminal, illegal aliens from ICE. They're all trained to push back on ICE and border agents. Dude. Churches are doing this.
Safe to work, safe to school, all those people.
The churches are like the institutional European replacement organization.
This is not a church service. This is a training being run by Siembra, North Carolina. It's called Safe to Work, Safe to School. All those people are here because they do not want Donald Trump's masked arms federal agents on the streets of Charlotte. They watched what happened in LA, they watched what happened in Chicago, and they're all here to be trained about how to get their neighbors and their friends and their coworkers safely to work and safely to school to push back on the Trump administration on what they are doing. It's a Monday night. We are at the Dilworth United Methodist Church in Charlotte, and the turnout is incredible. I'm going to show you again.
Dude, it's the churches, especially the Catholics, that are facilitating this.
We are worried about. Wow. We don't want to and then we'll have the
so based. Hey, let's figure out how to break the law. Yeah. Hey, tag FBI and ICE. Hey, ICE, come arrest all these people. They're impeding the law. Let's see. We're at 2 hours. How much more do we have? I might save this guy. This is some, like, I don't know, well-known historian or something. He's talking about evidence of the historical Jesus. But I think we might save that. I don't want to watch it. Whatever. You guys want to watch it? We're only 2 hours in. I want to watch it. Let's hear his arguments. It's just this 5-minute video. I'm sure it's going to be so many lies packed into it. It's going to take me a while to break it down. But let's
Jesus the Magician was written by a scholar at Columbia that showed that, I don't necessarily agree with his thesis, but there were a lot of people that were traveling magicians, and Christ was the best one, and that also bothered the Romans, and he was able to create mass populist Sermon on the Mount stuff. And then the message, you got to remember that the message
we didn't even know this guy. This is going to infuriate.
Sermon of the Mount is fake story, 100% derived from other prophecies of the Old Testament. What is Jillian Michaels going to say? She doesn't think, she's Jewish Zionist, by the way. She's going to say she doesn't think Jesus existed.
Stuff. And then the message, you got to remember that the message
we didn't even know this guy. This is going to infuriate people, and I'm so sorry, and I stay out of it. But I thought we weren't even really sure whether or not Jesus existed. And the apostles wrote this stuff hundreds of years.
Not hundreds of years. They get stuff so wrong. I need more Amalek is glad I got this clip. Yeah, I know. I haven't seen it yet.
We have Roman documents completely separate from religion that he was a magnetic.
Roman document? You mean Josephus and Tacitus? 60 and 80 years later, after the Gospels were written? Oh, no, we have, like, the documents. We've got, like, the documents. Josephus is a forgery, by the way. That one's not even legit. Tacitus, 80 years later. the 110s, I think it's like 114. Jesus supposedly died in 33. So that's 70, 80 years after the fact. Nobody wrote about him until 80 years after he supposedly died. And you're going to say that that's good evidence that he existed?
Stuff hundreds of years.
No, the Romans knew we have Roman documents completely separate from religion that he was a magnetic, was a romantic, wonderful person to the people who knew him. Then he had staged a revolution, and that presented a problem in this troublesome province. And how the Romans ran Judea, as they ran everything, they had client kings, Herod. So they would go to the Jews or the Gaul, anybody, and say, you're going to be the regent here. This is the protocol. We have Roman legions to keep you in line, but we want this. And it's basically a question of taxes, control. And in exchange for that, we give you roads and aqueducts and habeas corpus and civilization. And that was the deal.
Like his helmet.
This sounds
Judea,
like the way, by the way, that we go into the developing world.
Yes. And so there were regent kings, and then you always had a provincial Roman official like Pilate, who had a temporary, assignment, and he was the ultimate judge. So his whole point was, I don't want to get into this stuff between this new offshoot of Judaism called Christianity and this guy Jesus and the
True. Offshoot of Judaism. True.
But I don't know what he did, but I know that it's troublesome. Both he's got a new religion, and unfortunately, it's turned the other cheek. Brotherhood of man, blessed are the meek, blessed are the poor. That's not Roman. We have a Roman.
Unfortunately, no, that's what led to the downfall of the Romans, actually. Unfortunately, it's completely anti-Roman and cucked. And
he's got a new religion, and unfortunately, it's turned the other cheek. Brotherhood of man, blessed are the meek, blessed are the poor. That's not Roman. We have a Roman military ethos that the strong inherit the earth, and if an enemy offends you, you hit him twice. And this guy is preaching something very different. And oh, by the way, the local orthodoxy doesn't like him either. So we'll just wash my hands of it and say, how do we kill two birds with one stone? I.e., not have them angry at us, and not have this revolutionary new sect. So what we'll do is we'll get Pilate, and he'll say, well, I wash my hands of it, but since these guys think he's guilty, I'll let him kill him, and then we'll blame them. But
dude, the washing of the hands is not true. The high priest in Yom Kippur has the scapegoat, Jesus and Barabbas and Pilate, and then the high priest has to wash his robe afterward, and then Pilate washed his hands. It's a myth, dude. He thinks that's real. He thinks Pilate and Barabbas and washing the hands is a real story. Isn't this guy supposed to be some respected historian or something? Doesn't know what he's talking about.
At the same time, the apostles in the next two generations, they were being killed systematically in Rome by Romans.
VDH, that's this guy's name, VDH, Victor Davis Hansen. Okay.
That had nothing to do with Jews.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So when anybody says that the Jews killed Jesus, it's more like the Romans wanted a quiet province, and they did not like Jesus and what he represented. It was anti-Roman. It was a popular revolt they thought could happen, and there was an orthodoxy that they had come to terms with and used them to keep the peace. So they said basically, well, in Judaism, in Judea, the Jewish establishment, the religious establishment, doesn't like him any more than we do, so we can get rid of him, and then say the Pharisees basically did it.
You hear that? That's the official line that they're towing. Oh, he was a Jew, and the Romans hated him, and the Romans killed him and blamed it on the Pharisees. That's the line. That's the line they go with. Noahide compliant Jesus never claimed to be God. He was a Jew that was revolutionary against the Romans. The Romans killed him. Blamed it on the Jews. That's very popular on conservative podcasts. He's always on Megyn Kelly. Okay. Totally wrong. Totally kosher narrative of Jesus here.
This is so wild. I'm sorry. I know it's not wild for people who know this information, but I genuinely thought, okay, the Jews had the Old Testament, the Torah, and then maybe there was this guy Jesus.
Hansen is a neocon warhawk shill for the Jews. Well, he's giving you the Jewish propaganda on Jesus right now, so I'm not surprised.
The apostles wrote stuff, but the first guy who wrote something was 90 or so years later. We think maybe there's some Dead Sea Scrolls, kind of mentioned this guy Jesus, but then Constantine had a Council of Nicaea or something like that in the year.
He had a vision the Millennium Bridge that all of a sudden he saw cross in the sky, and he flipped the entire empire. So under Diocletian and other recent emperors, they were completely banned and they were executed because they were too revolutionary, Christianity, because they could deal with the Jews, because Judaism was localized in a particular area at that time.
Wasn't targeting Romans.
And it was a particular group of people. But Christianity said that anybody could get to heaven through the combination of what would become the New Testament and the Old Testament. And so the Romans said, you know what, this has an ability to be, it's kind of like what Islam would do later. This can
subversive,
infect everybody.
Yeah.
It's not ethnic or anything. It's very dangerous.
They should have stopped it.
And then
if
all
only
of a
they
sudden,
stopped
Constantine was flipped 300 years after the death of Christ. And then they took all of the Roman rituals that had been used to oppress Christianity and turned them upside down. So when you see a cardinal with the purple and the pointed hat, that's all from the Roman legate and provincial system. And when you look even today, the organization of the Roman Catholic Church, it mimics the divisions in the empire. They took the whole administrative system that the empire had and they flipped it over to advance. And
hey, Jillian Michaels, he doesn't know what he's talking about, and Jesus is a myth, and you should read my new book, read Richard Carrier's book, read Nailed. There's no good evidence for Jesus, and him saying Roman sources wrote about him is irresponsible Christian regurgitating of Christian apologetics.
Institutionalized Christianity.
Okay.
All right. Don't listen to this guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Check this out. This is a good one. Aiden Ross, who's like a secular Jew, he has on this this rapper, this Blexican. I think he's Mexican but thinks he's black. 6'9". 6'9's mom is a Christian, and she has all this Jewish stuff. She's a ultra kosher Christian.
I don't know.
What's this? Mexican.
Star of David?
Yeah.
Oh.
She wears a Star of David.
Mucho gusto. Oh. What is that? Wow. It's a pen. Some Jewish shit? What? Oh, wow. Star of David.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, my mom loves Jewish people. I don't know.
Come raise this with me. Come here.
Oh, you want me to hold it? Wait, wait.
Hold it.
Yeah, that's
Christian Catholic to Philo-Semite pipeline right here.
My mom is literally.
Huh? Hold it. Come here.
I'm gonna take a piss real quick.
Hold it. I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going on. Gonna chain.
Dude, Abuelita.
Shane and Dave.
Abuelita
I'll
Noahide.
hold this flag up and the Palestine flag because I feel like God is over everything.
The Jewish God?
Bless you. Why does it smell?
Sorry. I actually like you dirty.
I'm super Jew.
Oh,
I'm a super Jew.
Yo, it's like a superhero.
Super Jew.
What's your first mission?
He dresses up like a super Jew. He's kind of funny. His Jew jokes could be funny sometimes. He has a sense of humor about being Jewish. So yikes. Yeah, video really condenses everything that's wrong with the world. Yeah. She's not Jewish though. I'm sure she was raised Catholic, and then it's not much of a leap to go from being a Christian to Jewish or Jewish to Christian. But there's nothing they hate more. Only member of Congress who voted no on the releasing Epstein files is asked, do you care more about the U.S. or Israel? His answer is just very problematic. Clay Higgins with the Stand With Israel sign outside of his office in Congress.
Okay, so can you answer the original question? Who do you care about more, U.S. or Israel?
There's no variance. It's like you're asking, do you love your wife more than your daughter? Well, and you said it's a simple question.
It is.
Do you love your wife more than your daughter?
I love the United States more than I love Israel. It's a very simple question.
Great love, and you as a human being, you express that love, and you have core principles that drive you to your love for your wife and your love for your daughter. It's two different loves, but neither of them is greater than the other. You understand?
Who's the priority when you're casting a vote in Congress, America or Israel?
Priority is love, son.
Well, it's a very simple question.
What do you say? Priority is what?
Priority is love, son.
Well, it's a very simple question. You're not answering.
Dirty Rick
sent $10. Did you lift today?
No, I did the last 2 days. I'm probably taking today off, but we'll see. I always go after the stream. I don't like to go. I'm not a morning lifter.
Representative.
Go to the gym.
Okay, so
everybody better be going to the gym.
Who do you care about?
Or you're not allowed to watch the show. If you're not pumping iron, you can't be green pilled. Go to the gym. You expose Jesus, and you eat steak, and you have kids. Those are the rules. All right, that is what we have for today. We're going to go out. We're going to have John Garadis' mix from a few months ago to take us out, to close us out. I appreciate everybody, the support. Huge shout out. Clip the show, leave a comment, share the link, give it a like. Subscribe star link below, P.O. Box link below if you want to support the channel. Thank you, Gary. Down with Yahweh.
on Rumble. Down with Yahweh.
Yes. Expose fake religions. Go to the gym. Eat steak. Have kids. Walk your dog. Lifting on an empty stomach increases HGH about 400%. Well, I haven't eaten anything yet today. Streaming tomorrow, that's probably going to be a no. No stream tomorrow. But I'm going to be. I might finish the book tomorrow. I might just go and finish the book tomorrow and get it uploaded tomorrow. We'll see. I got to finish it, and then I got to do a book cover. I'm not thinking it's going to be too complicated for the book cover, but if you guys have any ideas besides a cross or Jesus on the cover and saying the Jesus deception, that's about it. But anyway, love you guys, and I will see you guys again probably on Monday, but maybe sooner. We'll see. Oh, I might do like a weekend watch party of Dinesh D'Souza's new movie, or if the Carrier Andrew Wilson debate comes out, I might watch that. Although I heard that they debated for an hour on what the definition of fascism was, when the debate was supposed to be like secularism versus Christian nationalism. And of course, Andrew Wilson ends up trying to argue about the meaning of fascism for an hour. Not surprising. Love you too, Jocelyn. Love all you guys. You guys have a nice night, and stay tuned for the next show. I will see you guys again very soon. Take care.
Esau is the father of some of the most wicked nations. You'll find Esau's descendants certainly in Europe, in Edom.
We have whole books on the destruction of Edom. Edom destroyed. That's what Mashiach is supposed to destroy Edom. It's all over Tanakh. These are just enemies of the Jewish people. But yeah, they're the arch enemy of the Jewish people. They are Edom, they are Rome, and they're Rome.
Who's Rome today? Europe and the United States.
God will take revenge against all the Gentiles, descendants of Esau, what we call today Christians, for the Holocaust, for the Inquisitions, for the destruction of the temples, for many, many things that they still have an open bill. They still don't pay for it.
And this is going to be God's avenging.
All these Europeans, all the Romans, all the people of Edom that came from Esau. When the time comes that Hashem takes revenge against you, how great it will be the day that Hashem will take all your filthy people, include your children, and destroy all of them for what you did.
The Christian world and the Western world is considered a continuum of Edom and of Esau. So now we're going to speak about the reasons why they are prophesied to be destroyed. Why will you be cut off forever? You'll be cut off forever because of your active destruction of the second base HaMikdash.
Look at Europe. They won't exist in 5 years, 10 years. They always choose the wrong thing because they are so backward. They're so backward. They hate God. They really hate God, and they really hate the Torah. You know, that's why they go crazy and with their anti-Zionist shit. They hate God.
We're going to infiltrate Germany with Muslims, and that's going to bring Mashiach. Because the Ishmaelim are going to fight the Edomim. They're going to take battle one to another.
Before the end, before Mashiach eventually arrives, there's going to be a major turmoil in the world. There's going to be a lot of havoc. There's going to be a major war. where you're going to see the nations of Edom fighting the nations of Ishmael, but ultimately both attacking Israel before Mashiach comes and destroys all of Israel's enemies. This is something I'm sure many of you have heard 1,000 times.
Edom falls to them. They lose. The Western countries lose this war.
Once Edom is destroyed, along with its false Messiah, then and only then can Israel rise, and Messiah ben David can gather the exiles and build the third temple.
So really, the United States of America is destined to crash miserably. What matters is that the fact is that the land of Edom, the United States, is going to be destroyed, and it's going to start with economy.
You can become an American if you buy into Central American ideals, but I'm not going to pretend that I care whether a bunch of people who are pro-America and pro-American ideals come from Cuba versus coming from Britain.
Last week, Highest organized a letter signed by over 1,200 rabbis. Can you imagine getting 1,200 rabbis to agree on one thing? But agree they did, and what they agreed was to ask our elected officials not to halt or even to limit the United States Refugee Admissions Program.
Nations, individuals, anybody that takes a stance against Jews, anybody that takes a stance against Jews, they have very big problems.
So, what do we think about wiping out the nations of the world, the 2/3 of the population? So, it's not that there's going to be an activity, fire and brimstone, plagues, 10 plagues or 100 plagues. No, they won't be destroyed. Simply, the nations of the world will no longer have a continuation. They will no longer reproduce. There won't be any procreation in their realm. So they'll just die out naturally of old age.
How could he say in such a time, God's going to delete 2/3 of the world? So a couple of the commentaries say he's going to destroy all the nations of the world. It doesn't mean that he's going to come and kill them with a rifle, with a gun, and stab them and shoot them and kill them. No. They're going to take away, Hashem's going to take away, and Mashiach's going to take away the ability of having a continuation, of having more kids. And therefore, the world is 2/3 of the world. They're going to be erased.
But the final salvation, the third temple that we will be built, will never be destroyed again. And there will never be anti-Semitism. There will not be one anti-Semite Gentile remained in the world.